When you think of glitches in EarthBound, what comes to mind first? Is it the stairs glitch? Using a perfectly timed interrupt to clip out of bounds? Maybe it's the 3 tent glitch that has a limitless range of effects. How about sprite overloading, which happens when you reach the game's sprite limit and spawn various cursed objects? Most of these glitches have been known and even useful for quite some time in speedrunning, but there are others that weren't even unearthed until recently, with one of these being discovered completely by accident called Equipment Scramble.
Wait, what? Huh? You didn't equip the yo-yo.
Now, before I describe what this glitch even is, we need to understand the category that it affects. Any percent all photos is easily one of the more complex runs that EarthBound has to offer, with the requirements for completion being that all 32 photo cutscenes are activated, and talking to mom after defeating Gygus. In regards to the category rules, no debug menu is allowed, but all other glitches and console resets are fair game. With that out of the way, let's take a look at one of the category's top runners. Veteran speedrunner Classic James was a juggernaut in the EarthBound scene for several years, and his main category he worked on was all photos. While not many people ran this category, it quickly became optimized thanks to other top EarthBound runners pushing the time down with one route, with major reroutes happening when it seemed like its limits had been reached. Even though James wasn't the sole innovator or even record holder for the category's lifetime, he managed to come out on top after nearly every push he had with the new best time. He would reach his peak for photo percent back in November of 2019, obtaining a time of 2 hours, 2 minutes, and 56 seconds, just under half a minute faster than the previous record holder, Sarium. Now, you're probably wondering how this is relevant to anything that I was talking about just a minute ago. Well, besides wanting a reason to say fuzzy pickles in the script, it's important to note that this run James performed would stand for a whopping 918 days before it was beaten, and it would be upended by arguably one of the best speedrunners of all time for not only EarthBound, but also the Japanese counterpart Mother 2. Allow me to introduce Octopus Cow, a modern-day Goliath in the EB speedrunning scene. His conquest over the last 3 years started with all photos for Mother 2, so it's only natural he'd take on the English version of the game. He did have one heck of a run to go up against with James's record though, with it not simply being a reroute, but a product of a grind against another top runner. Surely he would only inch past it, right? Right? Before I tell you what time Octo obtained, I do have to say this is where the new glitch comes into play. On May 12th of 2022, during a run of an EarthBound randomizer mod called PK Scramble, speedrunner Anda was trying to equip a yo-yo during a fight with some rambling shrooms, and for some reason it just didn't stick. Shortly after the clip ends, he picks up an exit mouse, and when checking his inventory a little later, he sees that his exit mouse is equipped in the other slot. The creator of the PK Scramble mod, JTolmar, just happened to be watching as this happened, and he quickly showed the clip to the rest of the EarthBound speedrunning community. In a matter of hours, the community was able to reproduce the new find and found out something incredible. Equipping the exit mouse? It did absolutely nothing. It's unfortunate when a glitch that could absolutely change a speedrunning landscape just falls flat, being only a cosmetic effect destined to be a neat party trick to show your friends. An exciting discovery turned into nothing almost instantly. And if you ask me, that's a damn shame. At least that's what I would say if there weren't other items in the game besides the exit mouse. Wait, what? Runners spent most of the night and the next day discovering every possibility, checking different items and their effects on the characters, and the results of this ended up being much more than they could possibly hope for. This brings us back to Octo's All Photos run. I wish I could say that Octo just barely made it, leaving the top 3 times within, I don't know, a minute of each other, but when it comes to new glitches in speedrunning, there's no better concoction that blows away all expectations. So it's no surprise when Octo came in with a 1 hour, 57 minute, and 25 second run on May 30th of 2022. For the sake of time, I won't go over all the route changes and manipulation involved, but the glitch is activated during the Starman Deluxe fight just over halfway through the run. Here's a few clips to show what the glitch does before I melt your brains with how all this works. With Jeff equipping the bottle of deluxe water instead of the Holmes hat, I think you can see the problem here. Looking at Jeff's inventory prior to the change of equipment, the Holmes hat was clearly the target, and that's what was equipped in battle. So what happened? EarthBound is unique in the way that it handles inventory reordering after an item is removed. In many different RPGs, the slot would be left empty after using or dropping whatever it is in that slot. However, in EarthBound, no item slot is left empty before the last item held in the inventory. This means when the item leaves the inventory, all the other items behind it shift forward to fill the empty slots. This is exactly what happened when Starman Deluxe destroyed the teddy bear, and is similar to how EB's item duplication glitch happens. This leads us to the second part of making this glitch work. When Octo went to equip the Holmes hat with Jeff, the game didn't account that the items were shifted. This is because the equipping action is set to the index of the item rather than the item itself. So while it appears that the Holmes hat was equipped, it was actually the bottle of deluxe water being equipped. Logically, the game would equip the item in the same slot as the type of item referenced, but when equipping, the game checks the item type with an instruction of and 12. This is how the game determines what slot to equip said item. Both the body equipment slot and beverage item type come out with a matching value of 4 after this, so that's where it goes when it's equipped. Now here's where things get really crazy. With the discovery of some items giving different stats and effects, it was found that the bottle of deluxe water gave an extra 40 speed when equipped in the body slot. For those who don't know, speed is directly tied with things like who is most likely to go first in battle, percent chances to run away, and certain formulas for attacks. This was massive because all photos didn't grab the rabbit's foot, which grants 40 speed, and while manipulation was a big part of the run at that point, not having the additional speed made it harder to use Jeff's multi-bottle rockets during the final boss fight. This allowed for a much easier routing at the endgame, and combined with some changes like having one less trip to foresight throughout the run, it opened the way for even more optimization over the next month or so. Using the newly found glitch, along with more rerouting, Octo eventually improved the all photos record all the way down to 1 hour, 52 minutes, and 51 seconds, a whole 10 minutes ahead of James' second place time as of June 26, 2022. As of this day, no one else, including Octo, has worked to push this down, but it's very possible that a sub 1 hour and 50 minute time will happen in the future. Outside of regular speedrunning applications, there's many other things you can do with the equipment scramble glitch. Feel free to try these on any version of EarthBound, including the Switch Online release. A null item can be equipped if the item selected for equipping is the last in your inventory, leaving the player equipping a blank item in the other slot with 0 stats added. Oddly enough, this slot is still treated as empty, so if you pick up an item after doing the equipment scramble, it shows up where the null item was and shows as equipped still. The character's stats with the new equipment don't get recalculated until after another armor slot is re-equipped, so keep that in mind if you mess around with this exploit. Another cool thing that can occur is a single item being equipped to multiple slots, thanks to performing several variants of the equip scramble glitch and rearranging your inventory. Unfortunately, the community found this to be useless overall, regardless of having something like the baddest beam in multiple slots. When talking to JTolmar, he told me that there are many other cool items to equipment scramble. For example, the Casey Bat gives 125 defense and 95% freeze resist when equipped to the other slot. There are many other cool ones like this, but talking about them all would take forever, so there's a link in the description for some of this documentation. Back on the topic of the speedrunning scene, while it's possible that the trick will have applications in other categories, All Photos is the only one that has seen major benefits from it. Though with how much the EB speedrunning community has evolved these days, I really think that'll change soon. It's incredible how obscure glitches can still be discovered decades after a release of a game, and by complete accident at that. It makes me wonder how many other glitches are left just waiting to be stumbled upon by some unsuspecting player. Maybe you all watching are next in line to find something in your favorite game that could change everything. Anyways, that's enough rambling from me. Stay hydrated, folks, and thanks for watching.